here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw's End of Year Report Cards.
Yeah, man.
It's that time of the year, Larson.
So, WWE.
Yeah.
So, where to begin? Old habits die hard with them. As we saw, I think, with TLC. Even if you juxtapose TLC with Survivor Series, you see that WWE, in many regards, represents the absolute best and some of the absolute worst in pro wrestling today.
Sure, yeah.
Because on TLC, you saw like the first three matches were great. Mm-hmm. Carrillo and Andrade put on a hell of a match on the kickoff show.
Yeah.
New Day and Revival, hell of a ladder match
Yes.
to kick off the main card. Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy, awesome stuff. And then you get Corbin versus Reigns.
Yeah.
Why do we have to deal with more Baron Corbin?
Yeah.
You get this Rusev and Lashley stuff, which I know is blowing up on the YouTube. It's getting good numbers for him. But from a creative standpoint, it's horrible.
Okay,
It's horrible stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And they get a lot of flack for it. It just far too often they do. It's a situation where I feel like they take a step and a half forward and then a step and a half back. They do just enough right where I'm like, okay, I granted, if I take myself in a position where I do this for a living, they do just enough right where I'd say to myself, yeah, I suppose I'll keep watching this on a weekly basis. But they don't do enough right to make me necessarily on a weekly basis excited to watch all their programs.
I sort of have just taken our Friday night SmackDowns and decided to make them our goof hour. Mm-hmm. It's at the point where I'm like, man, I just want to have a beer and talk shit about it and laugh about it because it's so dumb.
Yeah.
SmackDown. So I have some positives and negatives here. In terms of negatives, I've got the McMahon shakeup, which started the year, and it's funny because Brian Zane on Twitter mentioned the McMahon shakeup. He said, you have the McMahon shakeup. And here we are still with, I forget what he said. It was like Baron Corbin or something. Yeah. And then Tom Collahu responded. I think it was Tom. He said, yeah, but, we have had, fan service. We had Becky win in Mania, Kofi win at Mania. And my thing is, that was just Vince being Vince. I don't think Becky and Kofi were a direct result of him looking at the ratings in November and saying, how can I add more fan service? I think that he understood that Becky was all of a sudden a hot thing. Mm-hmm. I think Vince has always liked the horsewomen. Mm-hmm. And I think he ran with that because it was a good move for many reasons.
And also you had Ronda involved, and that means mainstream attention.
And exactly. Yeah. And that was probably the biggest reason.
Yeah.
So you had the McMahon shakeup, which was maybe the most cringy thing of the year, him going out there and just desperately
towards the end of last year,
begging us to watch.
Yeah.
And I promise things will be different. I promise we'll get you fresh matchups. Here we are at the end of the year, and Baron Corbin is still way too featured.
Yeah.
He is on TV far too often.
Yep.
This year saw more weird Vince rules that pop up and then disappear. No wrestling during commercials. That lasted maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah,
and then it was
3 or 4
gone.
weeks, I think.
But for 3 or 4 weeks, it was infuriating.
Yeah.
It was absolutely infuriating. Just recently, we're not getting match announcements until just before the pay-per-view because all of a sudden he doesn't want to do that.
And they didn't mention the wild card rule.
The wild card rule.
Which was another attempt to boost ratings because they decided to get rid of essentially the split rosters until SmackDown with the Fox.
Yeah.
In hopes and having essentially the return of super shows would generate fan interest. Didn't really work that way.
No, it didn't because you just got the same 6 people on TV the entire time.
Yep.
Raw and Smack. Well, Raw on average, I mean, week to week, there are moments of inspiration. I've said this countless times. Main roster gets by on the strength of the talent, not creative. I don't think there's been a single compelling creative story besides
Corbin losing by roll-up.
Yeah. Besides Kofi's short but very effective Mania run or build to Mania. Becky, I thought the horsewoman, I thought there were some stumbles, but I thought by and large Becky's ascent was handled. Becky, Ronda, all that stuff. I thought creatively was handled pretty decently. The Fiend, I thought, is actually the fact that Vince McMahon greenlit the Fiend. I thought was very interesting.
Probably the highlight of the year creatively.
Yeah, and I know there are others that I'm not thinking of right now, and that's fine. But But yeah, you had, in terms of a positive, on the business side, I mean, the two big TV deals, I think they were brokered at the end of last year.
Yeah, they were.
So, but they kicked into effect. You had a huge, really fun launch for SmackDown, new set, Pyro's back. And then it creatively just came back to earth within weeks of it going live. And then I thought Survivor Series with the NXT integration, I thought was really well done. That was really good, even though like the SmackDown that really defined it was of happenstance.
Yeah, because a lot of talents got
travel issues.
held up in Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Speaking of which, they have those Saudi Arabia shows, which are just, they are what they are. I mean, it's still WWE. They still do really good at spectacle. I think one thing about WWE is that their creative on a week-to-week basis is not entirely compelling, but it also shows, God. Okay. So on a week-to-week basis, their creative booking is competent. I'm not going to say it's inspired. I won't say that it's even good. It's competent.
I think if you look at it on average, if you take an average episode of Raw, there's good, there's bad. If you average it all out, yes, you could say competence, yes.
I'll put it this way. I think wise because I've been really thinking about AEW and the idea of booking week-to-week TV, which seems to be really difficult. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, and I know they're under a microscope, but you can see some decisions that they make and think, why would they do that? And then you look at WWE and think to yourself, okay, so it's competent, and this is how weekly TV really should be done because it is competent, and you don't look at it. I mean, you can look at, man, why aren't they pushing this guy? Why aren't they pushing that guy? But they don't make the decisions that are overly bizarre too often. Not bizarre decisions anyways. I think it just illustrates that weekly TV booking
it
week
is
to week
hard,
is
but
not easy.
I don't.
And the fact that Vince can write a SmackDown script that by and large can be pretty good sometimes on the fly is actually really impressive.
It is impressive. I mean, I understand your point, and I think if you take it on average, yeah, you can say competence, but I think there's still, how many times within the last month and a half have we pointed out a Lana Rusev segment? You're like, this is, if it wasn't for the strength of their personalities, maybe this would be just nigh unwatchable.
Yeah.
And so in the same episode, there'll be something really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you take it on balance, on average, yeah, you can say competence, but it's still, in an episode of Raw or SmackDown, there's wild variance in the quality of the actual creative.
Yeah, but I'm talking about from a structural standpoint and a format standpoint as opposed to necessarily.
There's so much of the stuff early on with post Becky winning the Rumble until she was actually solidified in that Mania match. Mm-hmm. That seemed week to week they were changing motivation.
Yeah.
They were just trying to create drama for the sake of drama that didn't feel earned or organic to make it seem like she wasn't going to be in there to get her more face heat rather than just saying, oh, this match is happening. Look, we have 3 months to build this with 3 incredible performers.
Yeah.
Instead, let's insert more McMahons into it to make it endlessly complicated.
Yeah,
and I mentioned this before that you had Vince inserting himself in the Kofi storyline. And with every roadblock Vince put in Kofi's way helped his momentum. It built him more and more. And that didn't happen when they did it with Becky.
I'm not talking about the specifics of creative. I'm talking about I can sit there and watch Raw and get everything I need in that one show. And I think that's one thing that's bizarre about AEW is that I can sit there and watch an episode of AEW and I still have to turn to Twitter or Being the Elite to get some of the story beats filled in. I think WWE, if something happens on social media, they will reference it on TV. And that's what I'm talking about is that they have the format, they have the structure down. And and I'm not criticizing anybody because I said this earlier, AEW, they're learning in a very public way. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of interesting to see WWE, they're the standard for how that format should work. And I think they do that still pretty darn well. I gave them a B-. Because I think that I think a B- is something you can coast on without really even trying.
That's kind of what it is. I gave him a C- because I expect much better from him.
Okay.
They're the kid in school who has all the potential in the world.
Yeah. Okay.
That is just there doodling in his notebook versus actually working hard.
Oh my God! Are you describing us?
Kind of.
Are we the WWE?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not here to say that people in creative don't work hard. They do work hard. I'm guessing everybody there works. I'm guessing whether they want to or not, they're forced to work hard.
I think they work really hard. And that's why it's even more frustrating when they put all that hard work and they send it up the line.
You see the kid there, you're like, kid, you could go to like a prominent university. You just applied yourself.
Yeah.
Instead, you don't.
Yeah.
You just sit there.
You're taking the summer off, kid. Or are you taking the first semester after graduation off?
Just like if you get engaged, you'll do really well.
Yeah.
That's WWE right now.
Yeah.
They got one of the best rosters on the entire planet.
Yeah.
The potential is there for it to be really good programming.
Oh God, it
the
could be
potential
killer.
is there for them to have anywhere between 5 to 10 huge mainstream crossover stars.
Yeah.
It's all there. Like
Yeah.
and granted,
Yeah, but what you're talking about is a borderline D with a C minus.
yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I know I'm not in danger of going out of business, but it's the expectations. They have all the money in the world. They got all this incredible talent.
Yeah.
Vince, even though he's out of touch, it still can be a really great promotional mind.
Yeah.
They got Heyman on Raw in charge of creative. Like you look at all that and you think they should be hitting home runs week after week
Yeah,
after
but
week after week after week.
I wonder if Heyman is just wildly overrated, man. I
don't know.
I don't know.
And when you see the potential there and they don't deliver on said potential, I can't help but knock them for it.
Yeah.
Because far too often their storylines are like, this should write itself. It isn't this hard. And I'll keep going back to the Becky thing. Why have her with this knee injury? Oh, she won't see the WWE doctor. She won't see her own doctor.
Yeah.
It's not compelling. It's not dramatic. It's not dramatic at all.
Yeah.
Because we know in the end of the day, they're not going to take Becky out of that match.
Yeah, it screams of micromanagement.
It really does.
And second guessing and
week
triple
after
guessing.
week, they change their minds and do things. And Vince changes his mind week after week and doesn't care about stories. He cares about moments.
Yeah.
It's all frustrating stuff.
There's no middle scenes.
There's no act 2. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So until they can deliver on the potential that I see right there on my TV 2 days a week, they're not going to earn anything better than a C+.
All right. Well, you gave WWE C minus. I gave him a B minus.
Let's close on without a doubt.
The top promotion on the planet.
Without a doubt. It's the only A+ I gave.
AAA, Triple A.
Let's rewind to maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. AAA was getting dumped on a lot. Pentagon Jr., he wanted to go out and wrestle other places, and they're like, no, you can't use your name. They were being really strict about some of their copyright stuff. Kind of ironic if you think about it. Considering how Sin Cara just debuted for the company.
And they've got dudes wearing Batman suits.
I know. In the span of like 2 or 3 years, they got a hell of a damn roster, man.
Yeah.
They just brought in Roosh. Killer Cross is working for them a lot. They signed a partnership deal with AEW. So we get all sorts of dream matches. We got to see Phoenix. Well, we didn't get to see. That's one of the negatives is that they didn't broadcast that second Triple Mania on Twitch.
Oh yeah,
it hasn't been broadcast anywhere as far as maybe Mexico, as far as I'm aware. Sorry, that was Kenny Omega versus Dragon Lee was that match. Like their roster is deep. They will do ridiculous stuff.
Oh my God.
To put on a hell of a show.
Yeah. And look, I'm going to interject this here real quick. They are podcaster friendly. They allowed us to co-stream. So this was my moment of the year. My wrestling moment of the year was you, me, and Hilton sitting in that room. The friendos tuned into our Twitch channel.
Yep.
They could watch Triple Mania and us on the same screen. We'd get our YouTube channel shut down in a second within minutes if we tried that with WWE. With AAA, they encouraged it. We had the second largest audience for Triple Mania, and the number one was Triple Mania's Twitch channel.
Yep, AAA's Twitch channel. Yep.
We had like 1,900 people or 1,600 people watching.
I think we're over 2,000 for a little bit.
We had a higher number than the Impact show that was running live opposite us on Twitch.
Yep.
And that was nothing but fun.
That was a blast.
And I can't wait to do it next year.
Yes.
AAA is an absolute blast. I actually endeavor not to keep up with them on a week-to-week basis because I want to go into Triple Mania each year fresh and clean.
Exactly. I don't want to know anything.
I don't want to know
I
anything.
don't want to know anything because that makes, for me, the experience far more enjoyable.
Oh, man.
The most enjoyable by far. I mean, Ray DeReyes is coming up, I think in January or the early spring or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
Okay.
I won't watch anything else till Triple Mania.
All right, fair enough.
I'll watch like their major shows.
Yeah,
Otherwise.
sure, yeah.
I mean, what other shows?
Ray Reyes is when?
late winter, early spring, I want to say.
Oh, man, we got to co-stream
Yeah,
that
man.
one for sure.
I mean, look at the characters they have in Triple Mania.
Oh, dude.
L.A. Park, Dr. Wagner Jr.,
Murder Clown, Psycho Clown,
Blue Demon Jr.,
Eho. No, wait. Who's the Ambergisa? What's his name?
Nino?
Nino Ambergisa.
Yeah.
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 Fabi Apache.
Just incredible characters, incredible wrestling over there.
Just
they do all sorts Aerostar. All sorts of amazing stuff on a regular
Vampiro,
basis.
even their commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all good, man.
It's in a lot of ways the best of what pro wrestling has to offer.
It really is. It absolutely. It's just off the wall.
This year I gave
crazy.
AAA an A++++.
I gave it 110%.
I think we're doing letter grades though.
Oh,
So it's got to be an A+ then.
it's an A. I don't know what is better than a plus.
Multiple.
Like A infinity plus.
There you go.
It's just the best.
It is
There's
the
nothing
best.
bad about it. Anyways, let us know what grades you gave the various rosters in our comments below.
Yes, please.
Be a huge favor to us if you hit that like button, because that goes a long way in helping the sport going in Raw. Make sure you hit the notify bell and click on all to make sure you always get your Going In Raw notifications. Want to say thanks to everybody out there for tuning in. And
Yes.
until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.